Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nutrition Science Live of this week. If this is your first time here, Nutrition Science is India's first whole food plant based online learning platform. This means that we have a whole lot of resources to help you learn more about a whole food plant based diet and implement it practically in your life. Check out our website nutritionscience.in. You can learn more about a whole food plant-based diet. We have an entire course which is free and full of recipes, whole food plant-based recipes that you can try out at home. We also have videos, we have blogs, we have other courses if you want to prevent, treat or reverse chronic lifestyle diseases, and you can also consult with Dr. Achyutan Ishwar online on our website, on our Nutrition Science website. Coming to today's live, we have a very special guest with us who is back by popular demand, Sri Vibha. A lot of you have written to us asking for tips and tricks to help elders in your family or children in your family transition into a healthier diet, a plant-based diet, eat more whole foods, eat fewer processed foods, and that has been a struggle point for a lot of you. We hear constantly that you're not able to yourself keep up with a healthy lifestyle because the rest of your family is not on board. So we have Sri Vibha with us here, especially to talk about not only from her experience and learnings, but also give us some very useful tips and tricks to help make this happen in your everyday life. So Sri Vibha has successfully helped 3 generations of people adopt a whole food plant-based diet quite happily. She has enabled them to make a choice to be healthy and to choose what is right for their body, and to learn and to keep their mind open in all of this. So we'll be inviting Sri Vibha on to the live right now, and we also had several questions from a lot of you about how you like questions about how to manage elders, how to manage children. So we'll be answering those questions at the end of the session as well. Through the session, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us and we will address them. Today's live will be casual. We also have a very special and she's going to introduce them to us. We're going to see that soon as well. So I'm just getting Sri Vibha online with us and we can get started soon. Hi. We're just getting Sri Vibha live now. Hi Shri, hi Shan.
Hi. You tell us if you want to see us clearly. Hi.
Hi. Hi, welcome to Nutrition Sciences Weekly Live. We're very excited for today's session. And I'm sure that the session is going to be helpful to so many people because everyone's been asking these questions, and to have the two of you join us and help us and help other people find their own path is just really great. So welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us both here. And we're going to just share whatever we have gone through and what we have learned. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Can't wait to get started. Okay, so Shri, can you give us a little bit of background about yourself? And then we will move on to Ishan and listen to a background about himself as well. All right? Let's introduce ourselves.
Definitely. I'm Sri Vibha. I'm a mother of 2 children first, one a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old boy, a 9-year-old boy. Going to be 9-year-old boy. And I have been in the IT. I was in the IT industry for 15 years, and then I had my second child. Iha was born. um, even before that, when I was in the IT industry, the general issues like diabetes and BP that were there, that I had seen running in my family, and then I was diagnosed pre-diabetic. So at that point in time, when I was working there, and during one of these annual checkups, I got to know that I was also going the same path down. There was research in me about nutrition, about food, and what is better for the body, and lots of questions. So I was just searching around, and I tried many, many things. And I also tried, I went into the session that was, one of the earliest sessions with Dr. Chitreeshwar. Before that, I had gone into many other dieting, tried many things to try and see if it's helping me with my weight loss, general issues, skin issues, and most often it was weight loss and skin issues. And the wake up call was the pre-diabetic, because my aunt had passed away with diabetes and its complications from that in 2012. So post that was the huge, internal search or a seeking on what is better for her health, etc. So after the session with Dr. Achutaneshwar, I wasn't completely whole food plant based. I used to eat. I am born into a non-vegetarian family, so we had non-veg food from birth. So I used to eat the whole food plant based maybe 60%, and then when at home sometimes weekends or some places when we go out, I used to still eat the regular food, the regular Indian food. And I had few issues too. Diabetes, pre-diabetes was still okay, but under control. Hadn't developed into diabetes by then. And then post my second daughter's birth, I had developed some postpartum complications after her birth. There was a huge blood loss, and then they had to interfere. That led to a rectovaginal fistula, and many issues which could not be healed with surgeries. At that point in time, I had to wait 6 months to a year until I thought, okay, let me. I didn't have a choice. I was at home. I couldn't get back to work because of those issues. And then I thought, let me try while I'm at home, let me shift myself completely into whole food plant-based and see if it's working. And then I think 6 months to 8 months down the line, after I shifted completely, I went through a period of 21-day fasting also under Dr. Chittin's guidance. And completely 100% shifted to whole food plant-based. And in 6 months to 8 months time, my rectovaginal fistula was completely healed. It was a beautiful journey I shared earlier too. And that experience changed me completely. After that, I did not want to go back to eating what we were eating. And that's when I decided that if I'm going to be eating this way, then I would shift my family's way of eating too, like that. Because there's no point in me doing all that for myself while I see my children eating the regular food. So slowly I started giving them choices, and that's how the whole journey began.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sri. Sri is also done. We've done another live with Sri. It is recorded. So if anyone wants to listen to the entire journey of transformation, you can have a look at it after this session. Okay, so Ishan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What about you?
Whatever. So it was a very ad hoc session. I just came in and I told him, Ishan, Shamnat, we would like to talk to you. And you say whatever you feel like saying, whatever I'm
Sure.
asking you about. Yeah.
At first, when we shifted to Hollywood contest, I used to start trying as the food and be tasting as good as non Hollywood plant based. Then after that, I got used to it.
After
And
that,
then
you
my
got
mom
used to.
used to start making cakes and all those stuff.
So, what is your favorite now?
Now I'm like, even I'm like okay with it.
With anything?
Yeah.
Eh, lovely, lovely, wonderful, wonderful. So nice to hear that. So Shri, if you know, like for a lot of people, when they see when they have children, it's very difficult because there's so much peer pressure, right? Like I'm sure Ishan has friends who still eat a lot of candy and things like that, or eat a lot of fried food and things like that. So it's where parents find it very difficult to help their children understand the importance of why you should be doing this. I think that's where it all starts. So if both, like you all can talk, like you both can pitch in and share your journey and experiences, but just how it all started. How did you introduce it to both your children, and what was Ishan? I also want to know what was your first reaction, okay, when you were introduced to this and when you first started learning about whole food plant based.
Sure, sure. It was a very difficult journey, I should say, because first 4.5 years of his life, he's been a non-vegetarian. Because I used to make non-vegetarian food at home. I used to make it with oil. He used to eat chicken and everything. Non-vegetarian was part and parcel. So he's been used to it. For Riha, it's been a completely different journey because she's never been introduced to it. After she was born, she's been completely on whole food plant-based. Though she's being introduced to many things now, but at home there was no choice earlier. So it's in a way easier for her to transition. For him, it was very difficult. At the point where I decided that I'm not going to make non-vegetarian food at home, I'm not going to have oil at home, in the general food that's going to be made at home for everybody, there was a little, definitely a lot of hesitation from the elders in the family. Children are a bit okay up until the point that they are given choices. So what happened was he wanted cakes, he wanted cookies. That slowly the cake thingy, how it came about was his birthdays. When we have birthday
School,
parties. Yeah,
school kids.
and school's kids day, yeah, where they have monthly once they would have a potluck and we have to send food for him at school. When he used to go to school, we used to send him a box, and then they would have once a month they would share the food from each other's box. So these two events, birthday parties and the school events, were the main place where he would feel that he's not getting good options. So then that's when I started making muffins at home, tiny little muffins that he can carry for his friends, and then cakes, different varieties of cakes. I used to blog about it also on Facebook on a different page. Uh, so what happened was trying out different varieties of foods. Yeah.
And the first muffins he made was black in color.
Real.
Yeah. So it was, there were many failures in it too. Unfortunately, some of the failures, he was part of it, and he was like, yeah.
Most of them are failures, only like some like 1 or 2 times because of luck she'll get it correct.
Oh my God, okay. Yeah. And he's a
Ishan,
good critic. It's very nice to have him around because he's very critical. He would taste it and he would just say on the face, this is not at all good. I'm not going to eat it. So it's very, especially when you have such a child who's quite picky, and I mean, he's not going to be eating anything that you give. Whereas my husband and my husband's family are quite different. Anything, as long as it is edible and it's vegetarian, they are fine with it. This guy is quite difficult to please. So we did try a lot of, but he would help around, try making those trials. Yes, there were a few initial ones where we made and we burnt the muffins and stuff.
It
So
was
that you learn.
literally black in color. It's like someone painted it in black.
oh
It
my
got
God.
burnt. Yes, we were learning it. Yeah. Then we did make better muffins, didn't we?
One time.
To school,
Yeah, school the muffins are like soup.
the carrot muffins. Remember
Yeah.
them? The chocolate muffins. Now I don't make as much. We don't experiment with cakes and breads because now we have some Punahara bakery for us. So whenever they want cakes and things, now where do you get them from? Yeah, the cake in a jar is their absolute favorite. So initially, when we
Yes.
started, we made all of this. We tried making, and the main problem for me was having a replacement for anything that they wanted. So cakes
Huh.
and muffins is something that we tried. At home, pizzas. Pizzas again, where we have parties, kids used to go and they are having cheese pizzas and things. So then we started experimenting and making pizzas at home. Pizzas are an absolute hit now. So in fact, his cousin, he's a non-vegetarian still, but whenever he comes here, he just loves having our whole food plant-based pizzas. Absolutely nice.
Nice.
And those two boys help us making those pizzas. These two
The
boys.
dough.
Sorry?
The dough. The
I,
dough and decorating the pieces.
yeah, yeah. They
You
they
like
help us with, I make the ingredients and they assemble the pizzas and give me, and before I put it into the tawa or the oven. So we enjoy those
what are some
pizzas.
toppings that Ishan likes? What are some of the pizza toppings you like?
I don't know. I like that red sauce, tomato sauce,
Okay.
cheese, and
Okay.
then They used to put capsicum, onion,
Hmm.
yeah, baby corn,
Baby corn, okay. They're also my
yeah,
favorite.
olives, a lot of olives.
Yeah, a
Olives.
lot of olives. In fact, the pizza is full of olives. You'll have to search for the pizza. So they end up making their own pizzas. So they each of
Huh.
them have one pizza. So I make the base and give it to them, and then they would give the
Ma,
sauce and the vegetables.
olives. Last time we ate pizzas, I ate like three or
Oh yeah, three pizzas. Okay, I'm sorry, not one, three. So they really enjoy. They completely enjoy. It's just that you'll have to keep options available and variety available to children. Otherwise, even the regular chapati, if we make it with different vegetable curries instead of making it curries, what I would do is make sauteed vegetables and then the chapati and make it like a roll with the sauteed vegetables. So many vegetables. In fact, you would add beetroots and things and make
I
it
only had beetroot.
cutlet kinds.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never even tasted that thing because I hate beetroot.
But he would never
Really?
know. In fact, he would not know them because he would enjoy them. Peas and these things, as long as it is not in the shape and form of beetroot. If
Yeah.
it's he
It's
sliced it and yeah,
put some masala. Uh,
yeah. And the buns, and then you make it like patties and then give them. You wouldn't know what's inside it, but they would
Yeah,
arrange
yeah,
the
got it,
buns. Sorry.
I have known that it's beetroot, but since it tastes so good, I'm like, okay, whatever it is, I'll just eat.
Oh,
nice.
very nice. Yeah.
I see the kitchen.
Yeah, he's there in the kitchen most often when we're making, especially when something is cooking in the kitchen. I think that's the most used place at home. Where,
Uh,
since it's an open kitchen, they're on the other side while we cook at this side, and they're always near the counter helping us make it. So cheese, you can even make rolls out of these vegetable chapati rolls, and the vegetables go off; they just vanish. So as
No,
long
they don't.
they go,
They don't vanish and they end up in.
where does it go in? Ah, that's all. Yeah, so especially with children, and the most important thing was there has been in the school party times, which we spoke about earlier. There has been a time when your friends would take off your box.
Yeah.
That happened. Where?
I used to distribute them.
uh,
First, there's like a small piece, okay, first test. One of my friends ate it, then he asked one of them. Like, that's
uh,
lucky the cake was too big, so I had enough.
you had enough. So I used to send extra portions so that the children have enough and more. So they it is as long those children when I don't even know whether those children know about whole food plant based, but the box always came back empty, and he would tell me that those children enjoyed the food, that it was
one.
sent along as a box. So it's nice. I think it's just that children need to be given these choices without our own judgment that whether they like it or not, and very naturally they take to it if it tastes good. Children are very straight. They take to it if it tastes good. Otherwise, they're just going to say no, I don't like it.
You forced me to eat amla.
I forced him to eat amla. Okay. He had a bout of cold last week. So I told him if you don't have amla chutney, one spoon a little, you will have to eat an amla. Your choice, either one. So he picked up the amla and he ate the amla.
Because after you eat amla, you drink water. Everything that you eat will be so sweet.
Yeah. It's fun to drink water after eating amla. Even I like doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, so you did experiment with a lot of colors, flavors, shapes, and try and make similar dishes to what they were used to eating earlier. That's pretty much how you got started. So yeah. So when it comes to, like, fine, as long as you're making one or two things, we find, some people may have the whole thing. But how do you deal with outside junk food? Because it's everywhere, right? Like wherever you turn and see, you have a packet of chips or chocolate, and they're also attractively packaged, bright
Yes.
orange and bright pink and all of that. So,
Yes. I think initially, when I made this switch, I did not want the children to eat. So I used to get upset that, when they went around to his friends' place and ate them, or even to my father's family, when we offered the chips and biscuits and all, the children would naturally pick it up and eat. I used to get very worked up, I did not want the children to eat. But the onus was on me to communicate to the elders, whoever we are going to visit, and let them know that, this is something that I would not like the children to eat because it is not good for them. There has been
Mm.
instances when I've been able to have these conversations with them, and I did. If they're open enough, then I did, and they would have other options. Like now, when we go to Pondicherry, my sister, she makes food that is no oil food for her if we're
Mm.
going there. So he has an option like that. And
Mm.
because up to he was around 7, 8 years, I had that difficulty. There was even a time when he went for a family dinner with my brother's family, and they were all eating non-veg, and he was in a double mind. He wanted to eat, but he knew that at home we don't eat. And he called from there asking, "What should I do?" And he was sitting in the hotel and calling and asking, "What should I do?" I said, at that point in time, I did not have the thing. I said, "Don't eat it, son. It's not good for you." Because it was very apparent that whenever he used to eat something else, whenever he used to eat oily food or non-veg food, he would come back and fall sick immediately. In the next 2, 3 days, within the next day, for the next 2, 3 days, he would fall sick, either a tummy ache or a fever, mild fever. This happened repeatedly. I think when that happened, while I was at that point restricting him to not eat it, but he would still eat it, and there was this quite a bit of thing that he would feel that he's being restricted, that he's not being given the freedom to eat everything. That's when I sought to different methods. I showed him game changers on TV. I educated him on why I'm doing this, on why this food is good for you. I think that made a lot of change. That gave him the information on why this is being done. It's not being forced on. And after that point, when I started educating him, I told him it's your choice. Now that I have given you the information and you're not able to understand why this is for you, you make up the choice whether you want to eat it or not. Whenever somebody you go to or somebody's house or even family, you make the choice for yourself. So
Mm.
there were instances when he went, he ate them, he would come back home and fall sick. So this happened many times. And he would start crying with, "Why am I alone falling sick while the other cousins who are used to eating it not falling sick?" Then I again told him that your body is quick enough to react. That's all. If you sit down and you're able to, your body is, if something is not good for you and you keep consuming it over a period of time, your body doesn't have the capacity to, it's not able to heal itself and immediately be able to show outside. It takes a long number of years for it to be visible, for all those damages to be visible. But if you're used to a whole food plant-based lifestyle, and when you for a break, or when you eat something else, it immediately shows. So he used to fall
True.
sick, and he came back home. And after the cycles, I think he realized he didn't want to fall sick because it was
Toxic.
hurting him. He was not able to go out and play. Those 3, 4 days were a little difficult for him to manage. But then the choice was always on him. I think it took few years for him also to go through that pattern and understand one year. Yeah. And
Mm.
last December, when he went for a 15-day outing to my native place in Pondicherry with my brother's family. I couldn't go, so he went with them, and all of them are non-vegetarians there. And then my brother sent me a photograph. The entire family is sitting and having a non-vegetarian meal. He was sitting in one corner with his own vegetarian food. So it was a choice that he made for himself. I think that was when I understood that he is now able to make his own choices wisely. But till then, if he did not, and if he would eat, I did not restrict him. I made up my mind that it is my problem to deal with, the concerns that I have, and to just give it the option to him because he's able to understand it. While I'll
Yeah.
educate him, give him the choice to choose what he wants. So I think
Nice.
last few times I've seen him make these choices for himself, where he would prefer to eat. He chooses for himself. He reads the ingredients when something is offered, and he's able to make those choices for himself.
Very nice. I think that's the best thing, right? Like you can, when you tell people why you shouldn't do, like, it's the same thing. Like if you're telling a child, don't trip on that stone and fall, you'll get hurt. And then they realize it and then they're like, yeah, well, I'm not going to trip and fall because it's hurting me. Why should I hurt myself when I can just go around the stone and keep playing for another 2 hours? I feel like that I mean, it must have been a difficult choice for you because as parents, you're just like, oh my God, don't do this, do this. But to kind of step back and
So that
say,
is learn for me. I think there's no way I'm going to, have him learn anything doing that. So I let the choice to him, but educated him on why he was falling sick. And the Game Changers movie really was interesting for him.
that's my
In fact,
favorite also.
yeah, in fact, because it involves a lot of sportsmanship and people who are quite well beyond the normal human's ability, and they are still able to continue with the whole food plant-based diet. So that brought in a lot of questions and discussions, and I think that opened up a lot of things for him.
Nice. Very nice. Also, like I know that through some of the incidents that you shared, that Ishan, you also like, telling what you like, right? Like you also like suggesting recipes. You also like, kind of
I
contributing
also
and
made
things.
a recipe for my own type of dumpling. So basically, I was
Okay.
just telling something when my mom was in Pondicherry.
Uh,
So then after my mom wrote it down in some bad handwriting. And my
okay.
mom claimed that she has really good handwriting.
Okay. But
So,
so,
so after she
huh,
came back from my native, she
huh,
made it, and then
I made,
yeah, after I
I,
made it,
huh.
I ate it, and I'm like, I never knew this. That what I told them would taste like a actual such a good thing. It tasted like an actual dumpling without oil or anything.
nice. So how did you think of the recipe? Like how did you make it?
I don't know. I just wrote something, 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 something. So
Huh,
basically, half of it came from the pizzas. My mom used to make
huh.
it with chapati as the pizza dough and used to make pizzas out of it. So basically, I copied her idea and I made a pizza which is like dumpling with rice and aloo.
Nice.
Yeah, so,
And what? Huh.
and then after when I tried doing it, I made some adjustments because I knew the thing that I thought that wouldn't work like how it actually worked at the second time when we
Hmm.
made the whole house the dumplings. It was so good.
For everybody in the
Yeah.
house, we made dumplings for dinner for one night. So it was really
Nice.
nice. Yeah.
What did you put in the dumplings? Like,
You put like two types of vegetables, carrots,
okay,
potatoes, and beans. You have to steam it, and then
okay,
basically it's nothing but chapati ma to make the dumplings outer thing. With that,
okay,
you put in some peanut butter with rice. Then you put
okay.
sauteed capsicum, tomato, onions.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then you put steamed what you say? Yeah, steamed beans, carrots, and potatoes. And then
Hmm.
you add tomato sauce,
Hmm.
cashew cheese, and you make it a dumpling, and then you put it on the tawa. And then you put Italian seasoning with coating that made with water and some stuff. You have to put in. Yeah, arrowroot powder and some herbs.
Hey, very nice. Once COVID and all goes away, I'll come home. You'll make and give me. I like dumplings a lot. It's my favorite.
Okay.
Cool.
For
I
sure. He's been waiting for another chance to make dumplings.
can eat dumplings for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like I can just eat. I love dumplings and momos of all kinds. So I think
Yeah.
we'll have a good time once things get better and stuff. Nice. So I know that Ashri, you're also living with an older generation of people. That we did speak about how you've been working with children. So how was that? Like that must have been a completely different experience, right? In terms of, because there's this, people will just turn around and say, "But I've been eating this for like 40 years. Why are you telling me today that, oh, I shouldn't be eating? What is all this new age thing?" So how was that experience for you?
But I think for elders, initially we were non-vegetarians, but my in-laws are completely vegetarians. So when I made
Hmm.
the shift, it was actually easier for my in-laws because there was no more non-vegetarian food at home. But the only pain point was dairy. So
Hmm.
milk and yogurt was being consumed regularly, and though I had completely, slowly over the years, I got it down to one packet. Whenever they came home, I used to get one packet of milk and yogurt because that was how it was. They wanted it. I tried telling it, but it didn't work, and then I just got one packet for them whenever they visited us. But in 2020, yeah, 2019 December, when they moved in, my in-laws moved in with us. My mother-in-law had breast cancer, so she came in here for a treatment. And that point in time, I told her that, right now I think we'll have to make this choice of not having dairy. It was a bit of a difficult, there were arguments going up and down on why they want dairy and they cannot. They're so used to having curd in every meal and coffee and tea in the mornings, and they said we are around 70s, 60s now, and now you want us to give away dairy. And I told her, if not now, we have to go through all of these, chemo and radiation as usual for the cancer treatment. While you're doing it, it helps when you're on this. And I've known from people that it helps. And I tried telling them, but still every time it would go back to, we are so used to it and, a little bit of it won't hurt. And I said, no, if not now, there's no point in doing this. Let's do it now. And it was a little bit of a heated argument. And we were also thinking on what to do because they are so used to dairy every meal. And
Hmm.
then we figured out we would get peanut curd. I was trying soy curd and peanut curd at home. And then we figured we could get peanut curd regularly for them. And we got them peanut curd. And they're so used to peanut curd now that, in fact,
Hmm.
last 2 or 3 weeks earlier, they visited one of their cousins. My in-laws visited their cousin. And they knew that they would have only dairy curd there. So they took the box of peanut curd and went there, well, stayed there. They have the peanut curd. So it is nice. I think it's all about having options, having replacements to the things we think that we are used to. It's I think the habitual nature of us that we often say that I'm so used to it I can't change, but that habit is something that we do it every day or based on our choice. Every moment we choose to do it, that's when it becomes. So
Yeah.
uh, more than uh, having themselves try it and see it and convince them, I think if whatever they need, if we have a replacement option for them, it makes it much easier. So they
Easier.
started eating peanut curd and anything. In fact, there's been many instances of payasams that we would want to make. So we would make the same pachaparpu payasam, which is usually made with jaggery. We made it with date syrup. So anything and everything that we would want to, if we are able to figure out alternatives and give it, it becomes much easier. There's no convincing needed. We also know what is, it tastes good, so they're happy. In fact, my mom made the methi sambar. She in fact makes a lot of whole food plant-based lunches for us. She made methi sambar, and my mom just enjoyed it. She said it was so nice. It was a completely whole food plant-based sambar made with kukum and regular without oil. So they are now so used to this food that they enjoy it. They just don't have no complaints. And last week for this week, was it this week? Last week there was a function for Varalakshmi Puja. Last week, yeah. So after a day's work, when I came home for lunch, she told me she's going to make lemon rice. I said okay, and I made some curry, and I had gone. And I came back. There was the vadas made and burellos, which is like a stuffed sweet vadas. My mom-in-law had made it herself without no sugar or jaggery. She made it with dates. Yeah.
Nice.
It's
Dates. She ground dates and kept it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Ground dates and made it with. Uh, I think you also enjoyed it. By the time evening when I came home, it was all empty.
Yeah, I ate like 5 of them. You ate like another 5 of them.
Oh my.
And others ate like the mid.
Yeah.
And that is
Nice.
actually I came home at around 3:30 to exam, so I had very less.
Oh, it was quite late, and so everything was over by then.
So half of the stuff was still there left on the end.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It is, I think, the whole adults and children alike are. It is children is more like we have to first do, and then they would follow it. Adults, I
Yeah.
think, because they're used to a pattern of for a long time, if they're given options, I think it makes it much easier for them also to try and see. Once they taste it, they know it's tasting great, and why not? And they would. I think it takes time, but it's something that can be easily worked around if you think of options for them.
Yeah, I think that's also like you make a very good point when you say that it's everyone does what you do, not what you say. So if you are eating unhealthy food and then telling children you have to eat healthy food, but I am going to sit here and eat all the fried food, that's not going to work, right? Like why will they do something that you yourself are not doing? Because if it's healthy, then why aren't you doing it? Like, why should only I do it, right? That's the natural question that everyone will have.
And with children, there's no way you can, fool around with them. There's no way. And it's something that truly works for us and we live with, and that's when we can even expect children to imbibe everything on that. There's no point in even expecting children to
Yeah.
be this way or that way. Yeah.
Yeah, very true, very true. I think that's a huge, and I think that also works with older people when you instead of again the approach that you use I find is quite similar in terms of helping them learn why you're saying what you're saying and then slowly give options and help them move. So when Ashri, I'm sure there must have been a point in time when only you were eating healthy, right? Because it takes that transition time for everyone to get on board. So did you find yourself, cooking different kinds of things for different people? I mean, what was that experience like?
I think because I was going through that transition period, meaning after Eha's birth, because I was sick myself and I had an infant to take care of, it was a very hard time. And my mom was with me, supporting me, and he was quite young. He was 4 years, 4.5 at that time. So at that point in time, I had helps who could come and cook, but they they knew how to cook whole food plant based, not completely. They knew we had to train them, and we had people who would switch or not come, and we had to train new people. At that point in time, I just couldn't get myself to cook any way different. I said, this is all we can do, and I'm just going to make it this way for ourselves, for everybody from now on. I think that period is when I completely made the shift. I said, I'm not going to make anything for anybody this way or that way. All of us will eat the same thing, and I only ensured that it was tasty. That's it. So prior to that, when I was working, I would try different things for myself. They put it in boxes and take it for myself. While at home, I would still continue cooking the same oily things, especially salad things which are easier. This is sambar and all. I would still, because my parents are not used to it. When they come home, I used to put season it with oil, and for us without oil, separating it out and keeping all this I did at that point in time before I got sick. After the postpartum complications. Once that happened, I did not have the time or energy to keep doing this for multiple people because we had to keep the house going and manage to the children and my own health. My mom was in fact taking care of me at that time. I didn't really want to have her burdened with many things to be made and things. So whatever we made for the entire family. And because it tasted great, nobody had any complaints. So everybody chose to have the same thing, and I didn't go back after that. I was like, this is how we've been eating for 4 years now. Yeah, yeah, 4.5 years now.
I think right from the beginning, one thing that I'm hearing you say is as long as it tastes good and as long as you're able to make something that people enjoy eating, it's more or less okay because
Yeah,
at
there's
the
no
end of the day,
complaint. Yeah.
yes, that's what we want. So as long as the muffins aren't burnt and and taste is nice, I think that's something that's really good. I think that you hit the nail on the head there as well. Where you kind of help people understand that when people think whole food plant based, they think you're eating grass. To show that that's not what it is, you can eat everything you want. It's just the way you make it. That's
Yes. In fact, we have some. We just got a bit before having this. So there's something that he wanted to eat and we've been keeping it. So you want to try it? Taste it, whatever you like out of this. Yeah. What's that? You want to
It's
test?
a cashew butter cookie. My mom makes
oh
it in my mom makes it because in 2007, which is now snacks in it.
Yeah.
huh.
So
And, uh,
yeah, and now it's really tasty. It's better than
You like?
what you tell the normal cookies.
Oh,
It is
nice.
fun.
so Isa
Nice.
also loves them. So
Hmm.
the cashew cookies and karanji are their favorite, and
Huh.
cake in a jar is their favorite. And there's this point when Dr. Achutan used to send these special meals on every Sunday, and the children, I don't even have to mention them, that it's lunchtime, and I just have to tell them in the morning, you're getting your tiffin from there, and they would run and come for the meal.
Lovely. It's such a right, like because the gift that you're giving your children today, Sri, I think that is something that they carry for the rest of their life. Like to know that you've built that foundation from when you're a child, to know that you're making a choice when you're, like 8, 9 years old, where you're saying, no, I want to be healthy and this is what I'm doing and I'm enjoying it and I want to. It's just so much easier because as adults we find it harder to make these changes. Once you grow up, you have all this, oh, but I ate this for 20 years, I can't do this, but what about this, what about that? So it's such a lovely gift to give your children. Um,
Absolutely. I think they learn also themselves, and I think we'll have to trust the learning process. So
yes.
whenever I fall sick, or when there's this little bit of cold, and especially during the pandemic, slight bit of cold, I used to get onto fruits, and my mom also has been used to eating fruits. So last week when he got a cold, he came and asked, "What should I do? I have a cold, and it slightly was turning into a fever." And I told him, "You know what to do. You can choose what to do now. If you want to eat something or eat fruits." Yeah.
I fruit fasted for 5 days and I broke the fruit fast with the tastiest of all laddus.
Nice. Did you feel, when you were fasting, did you feel good when you were eating fruits?
No, not at all. As I couldn't
Not at
go
all.
to play and I used to hear all of my friends shouting
Huh.
like do this, do that, do one and all.
Huh.
I used to be like,
Huh.
oh my god, what am I gonna do in 5 days or I don't know.
Every day he used to ask, "Should I go? Can I go tomorrow to play?" I said, "Depends on your body. If your
Huh.
temperature goes down and if your cold is all normal, then you can go and play. But till then, we cannot go outside because of the situation around now. We cannot go. So you
Huh.
get well and then we can go." So the choice was on him, and he wanted to go out. So he wanted to go out very quickly as soon as he can. And then the choice was on him again. What do you want to do? Then he chose to fast one day at a time. That day he would decide that he will fruit fast. So he fasted morning and evening fruits.
Huh.
And then
And Amma couldn't resist eating the normal food. So the third day, the second or the second day she started eating normal.
yeah, I was okay. I had a mild
Huh.
runny nose, and then 2 days I fasted along with him because I wasn't sure.
Not this. Fruit was used not eating anything. The next day you went parties, fish Kolumbu.
Uh, the next day I ate
You
party stick.
out
So
it,
yeah,
Sri.
exactly. So all of this we'll have to note, huh? I started the fruit fast because I told him I would like to give you company. He was fasting for the first time. I will also start it. Yeah. He started by himself, but I also joined him and I told him I will also fast along with you because I also feel different. And then I started the next day. I was feeling fine. Then I thought, okay, let me
Did
eat.
not even start the food. I ate one dinner food and then the next morning you ate food. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, I choose to. Yeah, that's my choice. because and my mom had made more korma. That was also very tempting, very true. And then she made more korma with peanut butter, I mean peanut curd. So it was very, very tasty, and I was feeling okay. I said, okay, I'm going to eat. I wasn't sure if he would continue. I asked him, would you? And he said, no, he's going to fruit fast. And then that
So even
second day became third. And
chose to do it. So even though it was difficult, you chose to do it so that you'll get better fast.
Yeah. Mostly because I have to go to my friends to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I didn't do it because I want my cough to go. I did it because I want to go to play.
And for that, your cough has to go down. So what to do?
uh, but I was, I was quite amazed because I thought he would stay for 2, 3 days till the fever breaks off. He may do fruit fasting, but I think I was wrong. He chose to fruit fast up until his cough was completely gone, and then the
Hmm.
fifth day, yeah, the sweet cough came home. I think that broke his fast.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I have some questions. So I put up that we are doing a session, and some of us, I mean, some people have questions. I think a lot of this we have already covered, but I'm just going to put it, if you can just answer it in one sentence, that will be great. The first one is older people are set in their ways. How do you convince them?
Yeah, we don't convince them. I think there's no way we can ever think of convincing them. We just have to educate them on why we do it and give them the options that they want. So if I had said no curd and peanut curd or milk at home, then it would have been a very unpleasant experience for both of us, I think, at home. But in a way, me understanding, yes, that they have been used to curd every meal and giving them that option of having a peanut curd, they started eating it and then they started enjoying it. So I think we'll have to understand where they come from, educate them, and give them a choice than convincing them. We'll have to just
Wonderful.
give the focus to them. Yeah.
Wonderful. Um, okay, the next one. Other kids pressurize too much. How much ever I try, my son doesn't just listen. So this I want you and Ishan to answer separately. Okay, so I want to tell how you help him cope when with peer pressure, and I also want to hear how Ishan feels when his friends say or eat a certain thing and how he deals with it.
Like I said,
Can I?
yeah, sure.
One of my friends, he keeps on telling that you have to eat oil for for your body to grow well and all. So I basically tell him what Amma tells to me. Amma tells that if whenever my friends come home and ask, Auntie, without oil, how will the bones grow? Or how will a pig grow without all the oil and those stuff? So my mom used to say we eat the whole thing, not only the extracted oil. So we
Right.
eat all the what do you tell all the fibers with the oil. So basically,
Yes.
after my mom told them also, whenever I go to place, I'll be like, how will you grow? How will you grow? Basically, I tell the same thing my mom tells to them. And
Huh.
one of my friends also say, without chicken, how will you grow? Because it has protein.
Huh.
I don't know how to answer that. I went to ask.
Yeah, because I told him about, I showed him the comparison between, where how much amount of protein is there in meat and how much amount
Huh.
of protein is there in greens. And we saw about the content of,
Sharon.
in the Sharon book, there is one column about different, values of vegetarian and the sources of protein and, the non-vegetarian, the quantities amounts. So I think there it's always about educating oneself and passing on that whatever learning that we have to him, and then you would be able to convince. And then I used to bring about the same argument about we eat chicken for protein. What does the chicken eat? The chicken eats grass. So why don't we eat the greens directly instead of eating the grass through the chicken? So that's the thing, trying to make him understand that these questions do come, and a lot of this peer pressure comes through his friends, especially when they go to parties. For Ina,
Yeah.
there's the choice she's poor, but she doesn't understand so much of, she's not able to make the choices or they even be able to comprehend all that we say. So though at home we don't give any of this, when she goes out, if she is going to make that choice to eat, I tell her that you may fall sick when you eat that, so be careful. And she goes, sometimes she eats and comes. I explain to her what will happen, why we don't eat it at home, and why do others may choose to eat it, but the choice is all hers. So I just explain and leave it there.
Also, one
Wonderful.
of my friends also told when I got the cough after I went to play, my friend asked why you only got cough although your whole food plant taste and all you eat full healthy. Why you got the cough? One of my other friends eats chicken everything. He's a normal person, so he eats chicken, mutton, everything. But he asked us how come he didn't get the cough. So I'm like, I
Uh-huh.
went to do taekwondo. I do taekwondo thing. I went to the belt exam. So there was so much exercise there. I started
Uh,
sweating like something. So my hair was like after I take bath, hair was it used to be like that wet. After that in the
my
hot
God.
sun also, so get cough
Uh,
because in the with the cold head and hair is fully wet and you go and stand in the sun, my mom was like, you get a cough like that. So I told that to my friend. My friend is like,
uh,
I don't understand why you can also eat chicken. He's like, oh, then I told this and he's like, oh.
Yeah. So
uh,
basically, it's not that we are never going to fall sick. I keep telling them it's not because we eat this we are never going to fall sick. We may fall sick, but the our bodies are much equipped to come back or heal quicker when we eat this food,
yes.
and they fall sick less often. How often did we used to get cold? Do you remember 4 years ago? No,
I don't want to remember.
you don't want to remember.
That my memory is full, I keep on remembering. Anything that I want to, don't want to remember, I just remember.
He's got a good memory, but he sometimes don't doesn't like it because he remembers too much.
Yeah.
So cold was something
Yeah,
every year. Children
not
at
every
least
year, every month. I
two,
used to,
3 months
yeah, every 2, 3 months or 2 months, I used to get a slight cough or running nose or
running nose. Yeah,
cough, feverish, or something like that. Every 2 months or something, I used to.
you
Now
remember.
Hmm.
I only get like not even like in years. Like in this year, I've only gotten one time cough.
Wow.
I'm good this year.
Yeah.
Really
Frequency
nice.
definitely
Yeah.
lower, and also the duration it takes. Like I
Hmm.
think I used to spend 2 weeks for me to recover, 2 to 3 weeks. My throat used to get blocked, tonsillitis on both sides. I couldn't speak in office. I can't take off for 3 weeks for a cold, but I used to go to work and then write because I can't talk, make signs and talk and still work and come back. This used to continue for 2, 3 weeks for me to get back to normal.
Hmm.
All of that has gone. The ability to heal ourselves is much better. It's not that we're never going to fall sick, but we can definitely heal faster.
Absolutely. Even I remember when I was a child, I used to constantly have a runny nose and a cold. It was just there, and they used to give you the syrup, no, the cold cough
Yeah,
syrup.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I remember. I can't remember. I think for the first 3 years of school, I remember constantly having a cold. So it's really nice that the frequency of you falling sick has reduced drastically.
Definitely, definitely.
So the next question is, how do you explain plant-based, the concept of a plant-based diet to older people who may not be interested and may also not connect with the cause?
No, I think using the English term whole food plant based is definitely a little sounds very alien. But when you say sasya ahara, it's just plant. It's vegetarian food, and you remove all the animal part of it, which is the dairy. Main thing is vegetarian and remove dairy and don't have any processed foods. So
Hmm.
I think after a point the way I explain to children, I did not explain to elders because. They would still they are making their own choices to go and eat what they want outside. So
Hmm.
best thing is to show them or do it at home and on a regular basis. Once we
Hmm.
switch to food, they would see like my mom-in-law's recovery has been really great. I mean, during her chemo sessions, she would come very, very tired and very dull. within 2-3 days she would be back on her own feet and washing vessels. I would, even though we tell her to go rest, she would come back and start doing her daily chores and things. So the
Hmm.
initial thing was, instead of convincing them, I think when they see it and when they're used to the food and when they see
Hmm.
it for them, it's easier for them. And just telling them it's vegetarian food, it's the same food that we've been eating all along. Very mild difference if you're a vegetarian, just remove out the oil, remove out the refined ingredients. Basically, in Indian
And
kitchen,
dairy.
yeah, animal foods. You remove the dairy, oil, and refined products in the kitchen. So once this is removed, first of all, we don't have it in the kitchen for them even to use it sometimes. So I think they start getting used to making things whatever they would like. Yeah, my mom-in-law still has jaggery in the kitchen, but she didn't use it this time. She made yeah, she didn't use it. It took few years. I think 2 years for her. She had jaggery. She would make the
Yeah,
jaggery
always
sweets.
use something. Sometimes use not, but otherwise for most weeks there will be jack.
Yeah, she till the Varalakshmi Puja, all the
Hmm.
events she would make it with jaggery, but I wouldn't eat it. So if she would come and say prasadam, I'll take a very tiny bit of it because I say it has jaggery, I won't be able to eat it, and I will tiny bit I will just take it for prasadam. I think over a yeah, your first, huh, okay, good. We want to go. Okay. So in the jaggery part, yes, it is still there, but I think it took 2 years, and now my mom-in-law has made sweet gurelu with dates. So that transition was self by herself, and
Nice.
I think that's the most important thing. It takes time, but once they see it, they will do it for themselves. We don't have to convince them.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, yeah, I think with that we are done with the questions. We have a couple more, but they're very repetitive. We just answered them, so I'm not going to ask them yet again. So, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us, and thank you, Ishan, for staying for the whole thing. And thank you for sharing all your stories and your momo recipe. And I will want to taste them sometime. Thank you, Shri.
Sure.
Thank, yeah, thank you for
Thank you
joining
so
us.
much, Chandra. Thank you, and it's been a pleasure to just share our experiences, and if it helps people in any way, it's all our pleasure.
Absolutely. I'm sure, more people will be inspired seeing you and Ishan and will also want to try, making at least one or two things slowly at home and then realizing that it can be really tasty and that you can, actually enjoy this way of living and be healthy at the same time. So thank you both for joining us. I will save this video as an IGTV, and for people who've missed it, y'all can watch it after.
Thank you. Bye.
And that is
Thank
not
you.
the whole dumping recipe. There's like another 10 to another 40 steps too.
Okay.
We'll share the dumpling recipe as well, the 40-step recipe.
Nice, nice. Let
Thank you
let's
so
I
much.
can't meet y'all and try this. Thank you so much. Bye and have a nice evening.
Bye.
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 Bye.